it talk about the money, this, that, backlog they don't pay. Yes, of course, they pay all other sectors, including it's so dishonest to impart as a minister for let it tell we say incessant affected. No. We get insiders them from the head office in NACOVAC. Then they pay themselves every month. One day they don't owe themselves 1 cent. Yes, we get
this allegation.
We get insiders them. We are health workers and we get people in way they na the head office in NACOVAC. Where would they liaise with? Where they tell me all this. This December we pass with them pay themselves 3 months backlog. This December. Don't we? They careless we. We they fight if NACOVAC get accolade like today. Now we the health workers and we the doctors and the CHOs then, the pharmacists then waiting at the front line, we they talk one and one with the patients then. Now we they give them accolade.
Yes, subscribe. You always dey watch we program them, but you not subscribe it to the channel. All wait till you get for do, press this red subscribe button, and then you come over here and press this bell. So the bell option, press this one with all. And don't done. And not get for cost you anything. When you do this, now sign for show say you dey support we for make we do more. Thank you for we your help we for share this program. Yeah! God bless
you. Today, we dey look inside Nacoverc then work after plenty concern we don't dey come out from the public and the well-body workman them within Nacoverc. Well, March 2020, Salone been registered in first case of the coronavirus, where this be make government that time they been put different measures in place for fet the sick, make it not scatter all over the country. Well, some part of measure where government's been put in place that 10 day now for revive the National COVID-19 Emergency Response Center, where after where they don't revive them be employ well body workman them for work na different departments them as way for help government efforts for ensure say they fet the corona sick come out na the country. Well, from that time day to now, they well body workman they are done the work now then different departments they are so na NACOVAC. But this being time concern don't they come out from the well body workman then say for over 8 months now they not get their salary, and we've been see Usai then do a protest na cutting tree. Usai according to them then they try to get President Bureau attention for tell them but the concern them when they get as well body workman them where they help by the effect against the COVID-19. Well, for can look inside and concern there so, and also for talk about the work when NACOVAC don't they do. Now the studio this morning, I want to welcome Ibrahim Lahai in a COVID-19 frontline worker and a nurse. Good morning, Mr. Lahai, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, 98, and good morning, Sierra Leone.
And also we get Solomon Jamiu between at the studio in at the spokesperson for the National COVID-19 Response Center NACOVA. Good morning, Mr. Jamiu, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, me Fambul, and I take the opportunity for wish we all happy New Year.
All right, continue for the between at the program. As I stated earlier, the well-body workman them this BNTM don't raise plenty concern because of them salary and self other concern them wouldn't get by the fight against the coronavirus, where governments don't put plenty effort in place for ensure say then continue for fight the sick where they in the country. We go start with Ibrahim Lahai, where na one party workman them na NACOVAC, and it will start for talk about how the fight against the corona sick don't turn like from the time where Salone begin register cases them.
Well, good morning once more. Me na Ibrahim Lahai, a nurse, and I come out from PMTC, CTC, when a community care center, and I there for represent aggrieved COVID-19 frontline workers. Sorry. From where the COVID-19 start in Sierra Leone, we are one part of the people and we don't volunteer. And we don't pledge with love and loyalty to this we country, and we volunteer for work for we country. Because initially we the COVID kind of Sierra Leone, everybody afraid. For more register with first case Alpha Jaw, everybody afraid, including the nurses, the doctors, and all man afraid. Everybody shift from the hospital. Some man go relax now, but some of we took up on we self, we say no, This we dey do am for we country and we dey work for we country. So we don dedicate ourselves and indeed we don work assiduously for we country. But the condition of service actually na the centers dey hold the work, e no really nice for we. So na make this time we say we dey come out or can state some of we concerns them wey we get. We don dey work with Nacoverc and we be sign a memorandum of understanding between the government, we represented by the Minister of Finance and the Ministry of Health, the Sierra Leone Medical and Dental Association, the Sierra Leone Nurses Association, the Pharmaceutical Association. We sign a memorandum of understanding where say every week we for they receive 1 million loans. Then plus that and get for the give 60,000 we now we transport and we food every day, which of course they not ever give you that 60,000 day.
From when I start for work.
From where we start for work, March, they not ever give you that 60,000 day. When we ask the authorities are involved, they say the 60,000 they inside the 1 million we then they give you as weekly risk allowance. But the 1 million we then say that where we sign for, they need to give we every week. Then they wait till the month's done, month upon month. They give you 1 month in every 3 months. After every 3 months, before they give you 1 month. From where we start for work, inside March, where we sign contract. Now so then they pay we. After every 3 months, before they give you 1 month money. Could you imagine from then where we dey work, we get a lot of constraints then we because we dey sign contract. Then work there all over the work, not to say we grab number or go say we go volunteer. Of course we not volunteers them. But with the signed contract.
Mr. Laha, you say for March 2020, where NACOVAC been signed MOU with Una, Usai other stakeholders in the well body sector be involved. Una supposed to forget 60,000 as transportation and feeding, and also 1 million loans every week. But from that time day to now, Una not they get this money according to waiting day inside the MOU. When the issues there have been start, waiting at the different stages they wanna be used for channel, some of them are concerned there. So other than the relevant authority where wanna be engaged.
Like exactly like we say so. When we start, like we own center, we not start March. We start May 16. Now we start. So like we work for 2 weeks. We go inside June. So like. Inside June, already the months done inside May, they not pay we. So we go first week inside June, second week, they not pay we. So we discharge with first patients. Solomon Jamaica West go now with center and then go discharge with 4 sets of patients them. When we go me particular West so and some of my colleagues them, me particular I ask them, they give you the assurance say then go pay we. In which of course they not pay we. At the end of the day, we even ask them for us. Well, let man and get small thing, giving that himself. It just assure we say then get for pay we. So after 2 weeks back, they not pay we. Then we go na NACOVA office na King Tom. We go ask the necessary office. We be accompanied by some of the doctors and soldier doctors and civilian doctors and then we the nurses and some of the hygienists and we coordinator then give we motocar. Then carry go na King Tom. We go ask the necessary authorities in King Tom. Of course, then tell we say, then let we go BDO. We go BDO. We go ask the we go first na UBA. We go ask na UBA if they not receive money. UBA say na NACOVAC then get everything. Then we go BDO back. We go one man the way named Christian. We na in there before we money. Then of course we go ask Christian. Christian say then go pay we in due time. They not pay we till the 16th. Of June, then they pay we first money. We na 2 weeks risk allowance, and then give you. So after that 2 weeks now, every month now, and the next payment now after 3 months before they give you one. After 3 months before they give you 1 month.
All right. All right. So this agreement we una get any time frame for her?
Yes, of course. All we contract they sign at 3 months. All we contract subjected to review. After 3 months, we sign another contract back.
All right. So in particular, almost workman they work na that particular center they we do.
Well, basically, when we start, we get over 160. But with subsequent time, how the trend they go, then how the cases then they less, then they reduce the staffs them from NACOVAC, then they send to the center coordinator for let reduce staff them, because basically we get 60 bed capacity, then we get 20 winner for recovery. Now center to winner PMTC.
Because of them concern there, so they outline, so una don't stage several protests them just for get the attention of the relevant authority that we concern. I remember the last time una be dey na cutting tree, Usai we reporter way be dey. According to a report, he say the secretary to the president be able for address una and assure una say then go engage the Ministry of Finance for una get una money them. How much them protest there so una don't they stage, don't they help for solve this problem?
Well, basically, before we dey go to them protest there, when we come out from there, from last year April, we didn't last pay money up to today. We are still here January 14. They not pay we no money over 8 months now. Because then they do after 3 months, then give you small thing. They promise say then go give you all the backlog. Because if they don't owe we for like 6 months, they promise we say, okay, well, then go give you 3 or 4 months. Log the manager and later on then go give you all that money back. But they need to give you. Say we then pay we April. Could you imagine April money? We then last pay we. Who stand and pay we? September. This September we pass 2020. Then they pay we for April. Then the last pay for April. So, because in August, NACOVA pull a press release when I get my phone here as evidence. They pull a press August 25. They pull a press release say because we fight the third wave. We all see the kind of way the third wave will be. The number increase. We get over 6,000 COVID-19 patients then, according to Solomon Jamiu, so we get over 6,000 because I don't listen to several interviews them. And we center, we get 60 bed capacity, but we get over 71 patients in our center. So passport we get for use the recovery back. Because when you go na the center, after we don't treat you for 1 week, you don't begin well, we send in a recovery. That after recovery, now it take 2 to 3 days, we results can, there you go. But we get for extend with bed capacity all to the recovery. Right. So you don't see. So like after we don't do that thing, we don't suffer during the third wave. We all know that May, June, then be the third wave. We don't suffer during the period and day. Then no money they not give we. Then we took up we then on August now we then send the press release say okay well we need for short down because the third wave we don't fight her now, we don't end that. So we need for short staff. Then they send to various coordinators and say let them cut down the number like PMTC, so we get over 160, then cut down to 60, then they maintain. Me now one of the people that were affected during the August, but from August now and the last part of the paragraph we the press release with them pull and say all backlog, all money we then owe we then go pay in due time. In due time now in January so we did. Then over 4 months then owe we inside August. Then now we don't add 4 months of on top and back when at January we don't reach so. So some of our colleagues still awoke. Now NACOVA up to today they work. They get patients in at the various centers in the PMTC and 34. So due to the thing there, we don't ask necessary authorities. Like we immediate boss, we now Dr. Sivali, na 30, the CEO for 34. Every day we ask at 34. Because some of we na 34 we work, we then send we on secondments na various centers then. We don't ask with CEO on various occasions. Right. They promise we say they pay. Like this December 8th, I can remember, a promise we say then go pay we before the 20. That we go get we money before we go the holiday, Christmas holiday. But you know pay we. So now make we staged some of them protests there. And we stage them protests there. Right. And January 4, we want to draw the attention of the president. Of course, we go to the presidential lodge, but the security and say for security reason, they send we na state house. Then lead we na state house, and we go na state house. The secretary to the president, then the Sandy, of course, he talk with some of our members there, and he assure us, and he call from NACOVAC and he call Ministry of Finance. They assure we say within 72 hours, when at 3 days, we money go be ready. When are from Tuesday the 4th to Friday. That Friday day we money not come out. So Monday we want come back. This Monday we pass we want come back, but we say no. Let we write letters. And we write letters to the president, address them to the president. Then we copy various houses, including civil societies, the donor partners. We copy them.
All right.
So continue for the with you the program. In name na Ibrahim Lahai. They represent the aggrieved COVID-19 frontline worker them, where they talk about them, concern them, we get for do with them backlog payments, as they say, over 8 months now, they're not getting salary. The program, Good Morning Salone, they continue.
Still inside the studios, we get Solomon Jamiu in as the spokesman for the National COVID Response Center. They can respond to concern them with, one palm, the frontline worker they don't make the studios this morning. Now, Mr. Jamiu, you don't listen to what Ibrahim don't say concerning the challenge and the payment.
Yes, I'll respond now. Okay. So again, Fambul in the morning. I listened to Ibrahim, and for me, I would tell you, and I go assure you, say, this is not the first time we had listened to a specific concern from PMTC. As spokesperson, myself don't be involved in several of them discussions and negotiations regarding COVID-19 risk allowances. You might wish to call it backlog, like in their own case where they talk about 8 months. I remember the last time I was part of a delegation who were actually going to special court and EOC, because I've been also then the lab staff were also affected, and we'll go get discussions. And I remember Chairman Bangura will make promises, said, and go begin for pay. Some of them backlogged and in tranches. For PMTC, really, I'm getting to know about this for the first time. However, we all in the response, we believe, say, a very important principle in employer-employee relationship, now for make sure, say, if terms and conditions of service have been agreed to and properly spelled out in a contract, we think, say, an acceptable practice is the contract must be honored. And so I want to state this clearly and categorically, say, as long as na contract, and like what Ibrahim said, the 4 layers of memoranda of understanding where government we don't do through Ministry of Health and Sanitation and Ministry of Finance, for people them they don't talk, say, entitled to risk allowances, they want them therefore be honored. And I believe, say, as and when people know the raise concerns about outstanding payments, whether it has to do with people the way they do testing in labs, or case management, as in the case of Ibrahim, or surveillance, I believe, say, some of them backlogged and they have been honored from time to time. For 8 months, and if it is really the case that these people have been owed for 8 months, me believe, say, as a response, that's an unacceptable practice. But these are things that I believe should be investigated, as I say. For them, where they work in case management, them pillar lead na Colonel Dr. Sivali. And me ain't really not don't get any specific discussion, because as I say, for PMTC, this is not the first time we had to get for know this.
Mr. Jamiu, you say this is not the first time we the PMTC then concern. Usai Ibrahim come out, and not only they represent frontline workers then at PMTC, they represent all aggrieved frontline worker them. Where I they put them to you say not only at the first stage they then concern there so, because even we na radio democracy don't they lays with Una and NACOVAC, they bring them concern there so anytime where then they protest. Why up till now, if the frontline workers them so important in the fight against the COVID, why up till now NACOVAC not try for see to them concern them?
So first, again, I go say, with respect to concern specifically from PMTC, this is not the first time we meet again. I mean, I just want to be very clear on that day. But however, I think, say, I don't acknowledge the fact, say,
Ibrahim
across...
just said the other time, himself meet with you, and he expressing concern, and you assured and say, we're not go look into it.
Honestly, Khadija, I not go recall. Honestly, sitting here, I not go recall. But I remember, say, the time when they discharged the first set of patients, them na PMTC, I was there. Because I actually carried the press, go do the coverage and all. And really, that was the focus of the intervention. We will go there. I not go back and forth with Ibrahim. I'm sure it's an exchange we must have had, and I not go shy away from him. But specifically for recall, like I don't say no more, I don't talk about special court EOC. These are things I can really recollect. But as I say, as long as these are legitimate concerns, Khadija, as a response, will not shy away from them. Because a contract is a contract and it has to be honored. And no say, a lot of effort really don't be put into addressing them concerns from time to time. and people them will don't be affected, whether it has to do with lab, case management, surveillance. In some of the other areas when they operate, some people they don't get them backlog from time to time. But I also believe say this based on how the funds are made available.
All right. Now, Mr. Jamu, you say some people that don't begin get them funds from time to time. Other than specific people in there.
I know, for example, when we go na EOC and special court, this I think say either early December, between October and November, I was part of a delegation we go there because we all agree say let's go there and hear firsthand from the people that were affected. And this now about the time where people will be supposed to travel out of the country, go do the test, but staff them withhold their services. So now that be prompt the visit to EOC and special court. And where I said that particular time, Chairman Bangura be make some promises based on the funds were available at that time, then go start for make some payments just for cushion the effect. And I believe say some of their intervention be made specifically for EOC and when Cockrell and also special court. Now, how wide that payment they be happen over that period, I can't tell at this point, but I will tell you specifically for that delegation which I was part of. I know that some payments were made. To what extent, I can't tell, but I'll be just one for attest to some of the interventions will be happen at that point.
Mr. Jamiu, from where concerns them don't begin come out from the COVID-19 frontline workers, protest against protest, they don't go out there in the streets. So many people on the wonder say a lot of funds they go into the fight against the COVID-19 sickness Salone. Funds from donor partner them, even UNACEF and NACOVA, they generate a lot of funds from travelers them where they come in and out of the country. With all their funds, then the way NACOVA they get. Why people the way they in front of the fight, where like now they exposed to risk, una no go try forgive them, waiting due them, and waiting una be don't sign to say we go give una every week rather than una they wait take 3 months una pay them.
It's a fine question, Khadija. I don't really think say the intention now for deliberately withhold payments where people are entitled to.
So it's not be the intention.
I go say in terms of I go agree with you. Say the response they generate money. In terms of funds they generate from testing, for example, and fine for 2021, I think now around 105 billion. So clearly the response they generate money. But it's also a question of the authority for expend what you generate. The way the system is, NACOVAC also they get authority and disbursement from the central government, and based on their allocation and
Order specifically na the central government.
Ministry of Finance,
Ministry
Khadija,
of Finance.
yes.
So
yes.
the money them way NACOVAC they generate from the response. Like use the test money them for an example. What in exactly NACOVAC they do that?
Well, it go into different areas of operations.
Namely?
So NACOVAC gets a multi-pillar operation. So for example, Ibrahim then pillar na case management. And case management, just they look at risk allowance. Risk allowance is just one subset of this entire operation. You also therefore they buy a lot of equipment and kits where then they use reagents for do testing, for example.
But donation they don't come,
Donation they come, but I will tell you the donation where they come is really not sufficient for handle all of this. And so I go agree, say indeed the response they generate money. But even when the response they generate money, the other question is the authority for expend that money. It has to clearly come from government. So as I say, then discussions and negotiations, they go back and forth. And I believe, say, some of their interventions, they be made. To what extent really for satisfy all of them people that were aggrieved. I not think, say, a lot has been done in that direction. Because if Ibrahim go tell me, say, for 8 months, and this is just PMTC, I don't know how widespread this is for other people that will work in other responses. I think it's a legitimate issue to be looked into. But again, as I say, the response they generate money, like 105 billion from testing and from SEMS, but the money that they go into different operations. And as we talk again, Khadija, I just come up from the airport. NACOVAC, they do a own dedicated testing center who they build up and one for launch down there. So many things there where money they go into, really. And I think, say, NACOVAC continue for be committed for they pay them backlog, then they ask and when funds are available.
We will look at the airport saga, but I still ask you question about the aggrieved frontline workers. you na spokesperson for Nacoverc. Now you don't the champion all the issues them we get for do with concerns where they come out from the public, frontline workers, and a lot where Mrs. F don't interview on, you don't they give information out. But this morning you seem not for understand, or you seem like now the first thing this you dey about concern them we get for do with the aggrieved frontline worker them, and you now you day before we for give information to the public we campaign the fight against COVID-19.
Again, Khadija, if we go back to what I say, I talk specifically about Ibrahim Dayon concern for PMTC. Generally, about workers we aggrieved about backlog payments and this, I don't speak to and say I am aware. Say people them in different areas don't they raise concerns about backlog. So, for example, I make mention of concerns will be come out from EOC, Nacoverc. I make mention of concerns will be come out from Special Court, and I also aware about concerns will be come out from the airport. But honestly, sitting here as spokesperson for the response, specifically for PMTC, this is not the first time we meet get them. I mean, and I just want to be truthful about it. However, even though at the talk say specifically for concern from PMTC, not only now at the get them, but I don't talk say as a response. We acknowledge say these concerns have been coming from different institutions in the response, and I believe say as long as they are contractual issues, the response should be able to honor them as a matter of priority.
In all of the issues there, so we get to do with concerns of salaries, conditions of service, the public not only una na the top places them, na the NACOVAC structures, don't they grumble say una not get una salary day. Is it that una comfortable, una they get una salary day every month, but the frontline workers they know they get their own, or una self they get in challenge that will get for good salary?
Absolutely. This challenge, they happen across the board.
Even you you not get salary for 8 months?
I will tell you, say, I have also been having challenges on allowances. Sitting here.
For 8 months?
Well, I'm not going to tell you if now 8 months or this, but I will tell you that everybody who works in the response have been having challenges one way or the other. But Khadija, as a leader, even if I am 100% comfortable, if anybody in the response is aggrieved because what illegitimately entitled to has not been forthcoming, I should be concerned as a leader. So I am very much as connected to this as Ibrahim or any other person who is caught up in this situation. And I think so we all, morally, ethically, and legally, we all supposed to stand in solidarity with them for make sure that these issues are addressed as they come up.
All right, continue for the with me inside the program. In name na Salone Jamiu, in the spokesperson for Nacoverc. It respond to concern them, we will command them, and serve they can talk about the issue we happened yesterday in Alunge. Usai people are not able to travel because of the results we are not able to get. You don't hear with him, Mr. Jamiu. It don't respond to some of our issue them. Now, apart from the allowances we on the raise concern about, we not like some of the other challenges we on the face.
Well, before I talk about some of the challenges they all they face, I want clear the ear because Salone Jamiu here don't specifically they direct to PMTC. Of course, Adea as the PRO for all aggrieved COVID-19 frontline health workers
All over the country.
All over the country. And all they are on for specifically for PMTC. And they represent Adria 34, Connaught, PMTC, Benguma, Oladurin, and all over the country upline. So let not specifically say they don't not the force they get concern from PMTC. No, and they represent everybody. Why Nami they are? Because we get people in back where they not go facing because then a uniform and then a soldiers and where they work with we. Them back feel aggrieved, but they not go can in front because they get the law we govern them. They not for protest. They not for join we in this. But we they speak like what's the answer? I they talk on behalf of the doctors. I they talk on behalf of the nurses and non-medical staff who get the hygienists them. We not the cleaners them. You know. So it talk about the money this that backlog they don't pay. Yes, of course they pay all other sectors. Including it's so dishonest to impart as a minister for let it tell we say incessant affected. No. we get insiders them from the head office in NACOVAC. Then they pay themselves every month. One day they don't owe themselves 1 cent. Yes, we get
allegation.
We get insiders and we are health workers and we get people and we na the head office in NACOVAC where would they liaise with, where they tell me all this. This December we pass, so them pay themselves 3 months backlog. This December, don't we? The careless we will they fight the if NACOVAC get accolade like today. Now we the health workers and we the doctors and the CHOs then, the pharmacists and we at the front line, where they talk one and one with the patients then. Now we they give them accolade. Because the kind of challenges that we will face in the centers then, it really like where I talk just now, they say that they give you 60,000 for transport and food. Like me, so I come all the way Wilkinson Road for go Pompon Hastings, PMTC and that every day. To and fro is 20,000 just transport. Food not there inside it. So we not getting now some of the concerns and that. Then we don't there we fight the third wave, which was very serious, and they all know. We the day inside PPE for over 4 hours because we go in the morning. We take over 8 o'clock in the morning. We begin to do we guide right to medications then, align with medications then for we give the patients. Say then 9 from 9 o'clock now we enter inside the centers, over 70 patients who they enter inside the centers. Who they say 2 o'clock. Who they sweat and dry inside PP. Say 2 o'clock. Then from there, we come on at those small, we take breeze, we drink water. Then we go inside back for go take vitals for handover later on, so we colleagues them. The molestation in the one side, because the patients we know say from where this COVID come, people them they free. But as the thing they go now, people then begin relax and begin to deny because they kill people and like Ebola thing. So the denial syndrome a buckle in the patient then like we saw we na asymptomatic patient that we they deal with now with center. So like you don't see any presenting sign but then get the disease. So then patients and they deny. So they take a whole lot for let we able to talk to them patient and normally then calm down. So they take like 3 days. Me particularly when they talk to patients don't lock me. Patients, over 20 patients then, they don't lock me inside the center. They say, you back, they can't give you the COVID. When I say we get COVID, they lock me inside the center. Able man then, where big past me. Some then are even soldier then. They lock me. Pass why I able to talk to them. I use my skills before I able to escape, come on inside the center. You don't see? Patient, they throw away food down face. When like you don't send food, now we go distribute food and so. If that food is not sweet, then they throw away and power. Then they call me like say they one can't talk to you. Then they splash the food on we. So you don't see? Then they curse with mama them. You don't see, like me so, particularly and some of my colleagues then, like me in particular, my sister gave me a house. Because of I go sacrifice my life for my country. My sister gave me a house. You don't see? At least in way Sir Juicy be the talk now, the financial sector, now this medium now they be sit down where they talk. Where they ask her concerning with money. It talk say if they not be the disburse money every month to NACOVAC, like NACOVAC don't close. So who side them money then they go?
All right, Solomon Jamigo can answer that question there.
The program Good Morning Salone still continue. Still inside the studios, we get Solomon Jamigo, spokesman for NACOVAC. Now, Mr. Jamigo, you don't listen to what Ibrahim say. One thing we mentioned that inside and at the office tell them say una me pay una self a 3-month backlog, whilst them not get pay for over 8 months. How to about that?
So first, we were as spokesperson, I am part of the leadership of NACOVAC. And I think the first thing where I established that a contract is a contract and it has to be honored. But I also believe, and I will talk to Ibrahim, coming here and representing, as you say, aggrieved workers, we also have to be respectful to one another and to each other. Because sitting here, me always believe we say things and we have to be very transparent. In the exchange with me and Khadija asked if we are also affected. And I talk and clearly say, perhaps not to the extent as others might be affected, but we all don't suffer from backlog issues. And when Ibrahim say, the fact that he talks at some point they pay with 3-month backlog, let's accept that is the case. If that is the case, then that just confirms that not more they suffer from backlog payments. We also do. But I'm not really the one for going to, back and forth, but that just confirms that we also have our own challenges. But what I think is important for the discourse now that we all exposed to risk. And as I say, as a response and as leaders, Usai people are legitimately entitled to risk allowances. And I think that as long as those concerns are investigated and they are legitimate, they must be honored. And I think, nobody is really shying away from it. In Ibrahim's own case, and again, we need to get a sense of how widespread this is. I think in Ibrahim their own situation, if it's PMTC, for example, case management and NACOVAC and BDO therefore look into their specific situation. Because I know most times, a lot of things them can be factored in then things there. So for example, they will look at, okay, if they get certain patients in a certain care home or a treatment center, for example, they can also consider when did they discharge the last patient and how long until that treatment center we don't go or that care center we don't go without a patient, so 3 months, 4 months. Also on the basis of how when they attend to patients, that's how people are paid. So now I say, because there are specific issues where things happening in a particular system may not exactly be the same in another system. So I say, most of them when somebody come and talk, say, I am owed 8 months. So until when they don't do all the calculation, it's really not 8 months as they are alleging.
Mr. Jamil.
So as I say, in principle, as a leader and as a response, in principle, I just want to establish, say, Khadija, as long as these are contractual issues and they are investigated and legitimately established, they must be honored. And I think, as a response, we should not shy away from it. I think, I don't establish that.
All right. NACOVAC, they get financial challenges to the extent that on our own, the frontline workers, them over 8 months, they don't get their allowances. Women say the institution, they get financial challenges, and according to you, even yourself, una the leadership, it affects una. With all them financial challenges there, so Usai NACOVAC been pull money for rent a big office na Sport Usai World Bank be the trade where that particular building I made for understand it cost about $200,000.
Okay, no one for really going into finances because I have to have my facts right.
But they talk about financial challenges where as an institution they go through.
Yeah.
With all them challenges there, so the public they see now they make strides for rent big offices them we're very expensive and the workers they were they in charge for feed the sick, they get concerns.
So as I say again, Khadija, I think in this discussion, if you really ask whether it's really important for rent that kind of office space and sometimes for the kind of money that may have been expended, I think if you look at the office space, look at the facilities where it gets and how then they go also help the respond for able for manage the pandemic, I think it's really justifiable. However, you can't take that as a priority, and you similarly conclude that paying people their risk allowances is not a priority. Me think if you put all two on a scale, I think you should attach equal importance to both. Having a congenial working environment for an outfit like COVID-19 response, where all over the world, it's something that you have to prioritize, really. And given the fact, it's a multi-pillar, multi-expert agency, you draw experts, not just from the private but public sphere, and even internationals coming in where they lend support to the response, I think, really, you need a convenient space for able to operate from. However, we still believe, people who are owed their backlogs, that should be addressed because that is equally important.
All right. As Solomon Jamil, you still receive your allowance?
Yes.
All right, now, Mr. Jamu, you mentioned, on a need for get a
but we are also owed backlog. I go establish that.
But I understand, you and the coordinator on a salary, they not delay neither on allowances.
Well, you see where Ibrahim talks at some point they pay 3 month backlog. So that if that was the case, that also they established we can really get in challenges there.
Now, Mr. Jamil, as you see, on a need space, also on the work. Better space so that they will go carry on proper one. But again, if you look, people within at the ground where they work, you not think they're more important than the office space where you mention on a need, forget so that will go carry on proper one. When I not think so, I don't address them people who had an issue instead of the office space we want to take.
I think it got difficult for La talk say having an office space not really important. And again, we get to look at the transition because we also need for hastily move from King Tom because SLFA we also need their space for operate. But honestly, I believe say if I am in a position like Ibrahim or any other person affected, hearing the facts where it don't lay out, I think say if me be in that kind of position as well, sometimes I don't be more furious than how in day. So honestly, I think we all, if we put ourselves in that kind of position, that make I establish from the get-go, say, a contract is a contract and it really for be honored.
You know, been think say that decision we wanna make as leadership and NACOVAC for rent such kind of building way maybe una might not even use all the rooms them. Una for don't go for a less expensive one and the other funds una try for sort issues them like Ibrahim the issue there.
Well, I don't know a lot of the discussions will be factored for get this building. And I not think say it's just about NACOVAC. Because as we talk now, Khadija, NACOVAC also the plan now what we call an integration into core Ministry of Health activities, but also transition now they take place. What in NACOVAC the transition into, I think it's also possible say this outfit we don't secure. A lot of other agencies were connected to NACOVAC will also benefit from this. So as I say, I think it's a picture that is bigger than just the NACOVAC operations.
During the last protest of them aggrieved worker there, them make a statement say if they not get the salaries, then backlog, then go down tools, then go stop for work. And as soon as they make these statements, people begin to see challenges from the fight. One part then challenge then the Nafole people get access to the COVID test results for travel.
Yeah.
Yesterday, everybody yeri or see body chaos where be they na the Lunge International Airport to say passenger them miss them flights them because of the COVID test results where they not be able to forget. But you come out and make a statement say na technology failure, na the system been failure na. Is it that na the system or na because of the aggrieved worker them will lay down tools?
For the event specifically in our airport, we make about 58 or about 60 passengers were affected. The information we'll get and based on with discussions really na the travel portal with www.travel.gov.sl. Now be go down for a while. And as you know, Khadija, from the time we resume commercial flight, when they lift the ban on commercial flight, we launch with travel portal. We don't ask all inbound and outbound passengers for make sure they then register on the travel portal, and also we create an opportunity for them for able for access their certificates online. So between day before yesterday night and yesterday morning, the system was really down. And that was a very unfortunate development because this is not a travel portal we don't use for serve inbound and outbound passengers. Over 70,000 of them will not be really don't get an issue. I think yesterday night, 2 days ago and yesterday morning was the first time we really get an issue of that kind of magnitude. However, the ICT consortium be not able to restore the site back, and from the time we go to airport, the system was up and running and passengers then be able to access then result. It was, however, Khadija, a very, very painful experience because by the time we go, firsthand for talk to the passengers who were affected, including our colleague Asma James, talking from one passenger to the other, somebody be also due for medical procedure, some people were bound to be in Lagos for a wedding, different people. If you take one case to the other, all of the cases they were really sharing with us because the idea was to see if we can divide them into two categories. Tier 1, we sometimes don't consider for be the most critical group, and sometimes Tier 2, people that we think say because they don't miss their flight, they could come back and make another travel arrangement. But as you talk to one passenger after the other, it's like every case was really critical. It'd be very unfortunate what happened. However, we talk to them and we talk to the general public, say, technology failures happen all over the world.
Right.
And
so, silent people are there presently, Mr. Jamilu?
Well, so yesterday we able for make sure say we get them at I think International Gateway or Gateway Hotel. Now they will go meet with them, and we talk to the management for also make sure say the one that we one for continue for day in hotel until they rebook and fly out, go continue for the day. So feeding arrangement was made yesterday. We did away about 5 people. We were able to get them into Brussels Airlines. We're supposed to go to America. We talked to KQ. We be indicate to we say they might be able to bring in through the Star Alliance about 20 spaces for we. Sky, the next available flight for be tomorrow, but fully booked. So we are looking at Monday at the earliest. But some of them things that they will not be able to finalize on it. But as and when will they finalize, now so then they accommodate them passengers for travel.
All right, so then people here, we presently, we on a lodge in a Lunge in a different guest house. What are the foots the bill of them people here?
Well, for the accommodation, that will be done by government, absolutely.
All right, with all the challenges there, so somebody they wonder say why the authority them not go try for integrate NACOVA into the existing health structures.
That's a fine one, Khadija. So then discussions and they day on. So because of what happened yesterday, we don't discuss now with civil aviation, and we will talk through them. We will talk to the airlines for see what will be the alternative recourse in an event where there is a system failure in the future, because we need to get alternative protocol. What will be the protocol will go kick in, will go be acceptable to both NACOVAC and also the airline, and also a system where you don't want a situation where you go say let people then travel, then something as them go now then transit or final destination, then get problems with their own COVID-19 regulations. So we are learning lessons from all of this, and we hope and pray say we will get a system where this not will happen again.
All right, in name na Salone Jamiu, the spokesperson for NACOVAC. It respond to issue them with some frontline workman then gets concerning the allowance, and same way so the issue we happened yesterday na Lunge. The program, good morning, Salone still continues, still inside the studios. We get Ibrahim Lahai, one part of frontline workman them na where the work na some center them na Freetown, and remember see now we reporter Kabia me they talk to Abbas Abdullah Bangura, we na workman and in the public relation officer for College of Digital Excellence. I mean they talk about the different course them we then they offer to the public.
We continue the program and we come back to Ibrahim Lahai, where they represent aggrieved COVID-19 frontline workers them. We don't talk about them, different concern them we then get. Mr. Lahai don't listen to Mr. Jamiru. NACOVAC they get financial challenges now that make una not able forget on a salary they it's the backlog salary the way they own now. But according to them, they still they work on that. Going forward, after this discussion today, and you don't get first-hand information from the spokesperson from NACOVAC, what think will be on our next line of action?
Well, one thing we want to let the minister know is contract and contract. No matter if you get patients or you not get patients. Like I said earlier on, all the centers and get patients then, Then it talk about investigation. Not to the first thing this when we don't listen on a radio station, we don't watch on a television station, where they talk about then they investigate with money. Not until they don't begin to talk about this. So now we want a timeline. And we don't let this delay again because we don't patients for over 8 months now. So we need with money. So when I make the last time we take up on we say for go with targets and for go see the presidents. Like Khadija asked me, who's good dividend now this don't yield. We target now for see the president, but unfortunately, we'll not be see the president. We'll meet with the secretary to the president. We'll be assured we, but the time we begin it don't elapse. So now, we want to let the minister tell we who's standing they pay because they get money for pay all other sectors, including them when they heads them. Like they say, not deny say they not pay themselves that 3-month backlog. Not denying. So we want to know who's standing they pay with because IJ when are the nutritionist where it's our saying they cook for the patients then pay them. The lab them with them protest this BNTM because now they give them the figure where they want, then pay them.
All right, so if they're not going on a timeline, what's
so because we don't write letter to the president, I get a copy now. We will copy UNA and other civil society and donor partners. So we don't copy the IG and we copy Ministry of Defense. So if we not get with money by the end of today, definitely next week we'll go for come back in the street and we come out because we over 1,000.
Okay.
We'll go for come out in a massive number. So one the listing we want talk to one appeal to the president, the first lady, and the civil societies and the donor partners. Then let them come to aid and ensure say yes. Let them pay this money on time. Now that's all we ask for.
All right, Ibrahim. I'm bring you in Solomon Jameo. Ibrahim they ask now for a timeline for get the money. according to them, they don't write to the relevant authority them, and after today, they're not able to get a timeline. By Monday, then go come out na street again for protest.
Honestly, if you deal within my competence for get timeline, I for don't get them. But as you self know, Khadija, myself I get my own specific mandate as spokesperson for the response. Ibrahim is a colleague, and I believe he's just one of the finest where we get. And honestly, Khadija, now then the interface with the positive cases, and I know how the gravity of that kind of risk is. So anytime, any day, I think if we get for prioritize anything, people like this, cases like this should be prioritized. So myself, they make this a personal crusade. Like what he say, remind me, say they tell go discharge patients. We had a conversation. I'm sure we'll take it from there, not just specifically from PMTC, but also across the response. And I go assure you, the outgoing chairman, Khadija, even this last presidential task force will meet. When they bring out the financials, it also bring the issue about backlog. I think it sum up to about 38 or so billion. And ask government kindly for prioritized than this. So I believe that Honorable Sheku Bangura has also been equally committed, making a very passionate case for all of them people and the way owe them backlog. And I will make sure that I stand personally in solidarity with them for make sure that this issue is addressed.
All right, quickly, another issue again. The UK, the ban on the door lifts for passengers them we're fully vaccinated, where they go na the UK, we don't need a pre-arrival test. For example, one day they come off free toya, as you're fully vaccinated, you don't need a pre-arrival test result. But NACOVA still they charge them people there so.
Because well, last say things a bit fluid, Khadija, now things and this is what they discuss. We respect the decision of UK for dispense with negative COVID-19 certificates as long as you are fully vaccinated. But we equally believe, say, we owe them to we people and also travelers that are traveling for make sure, say, once you come off Salone for go out, you are also not a positive case. Because for move from here, for go through sea coach, get to the airport, if you are a positive case, you are exposing other people to risk. So for we continue for prioritize testing, because we believe say, it's an important thing for me to be able to address the pandemic locally.
All right, now Mr. Jamiu, as we not get better in term again, what's the problem there we make on the slow for people when a frontline workman them? Somebody just they ask now with Facebook page. So what's the problem there?
I wish you not be bringing me to this again. La put on this way. NACOVAC, they engage government very strongly. As I say, even in the last presidential task force, Honorable Sheku Bangura made a very passionate appeal for address backlog. As I say, I think it comes a total about 38 or so billion. I think all of these things really are from my own sense. One, now funding availability. But as I say, Ibrahim no Allah talk about I'm really about investigation. But la put on this way. We get a fiduciary agency when a BDO. Now then they advise NACOVAC on all financial matters. One thing I go just want for say on air, now that there is a very strong commitment on the part of NACOVAC for honor every legitimate backlog. And some of us will make sure, as I said, we are part of this crusade for make sure that this is addressed, as long as funds are available.
Quickly, now funding availability. Now to say Ministry of Finance don't reduce the allocation to NACOVAC. If yes, what's not the reason then?
I not go specifically say if they don't reduce, but I know that there are funding challenges. And
for
as
Ministry
they
of
say,
Finance.
all over, what I go say now that a lot of things they beg for attention now. It is not just COVID-19. I believe the government also gets other priorities for attend to. So because a lot of them things and they clash and there is competition, but I believe the government always committed really for provide funds for the response.
Thank you very much, Salone Jamil, spokesperson for NACOVAC. We come to the studio this morning. There's plenty concern them where the public gets about the COVID-19 threat, and also address some of the concern them where the aggrieved COVID-19 frontline workers then get. Now they end the program. Good morning, Salone, for today edition. Michael Sambola and Alex Lawrence Koma and then produce the program. DJ Lavagi with technical support, and to the entire Good Morning Salone team we make the program reach on. Amina Khadija Bangura, the wishing all a lovely weekend.
My name is Usman Kamara.